Beautiful day in Portugal, a very chilly wind, so I've got my hoodie on. This is what the next project's going to be. I'll give you a little look around the area in a sec. Basically, you're going to build a shed. So this is the area. This used to be, this square here used to be a building of some kind. So what we're going to do is first of all just clear this whole area of all the weeds, see what we've got. I know there's a concrete base under here. That's my building material to start off with. Rubble, bricks. I've got cement as well. And basically what I want to do is have sort of two sheds here, and then this area cleared, kind of like a patio, and to have a sitting area with a fire pit, because that's our view from up here, a view over the villages and over the hills. Absolutely lovely. So there's my trusty speaker, ready for music while I work, and that's the scene. So just going to do a bit of clearing and see where we are. So first little sweep through with a shovel and just separate. There's a lot of sand and cement under here, just separating off all the green stuff and moss and mud. I'll be throwing that on top of the compost heap. So I've probably cleared the first metre of it. That's gone quite well. I'll just keep working down through the area now. The floor isn't great, there's holes in it, but it's a good thing to start from, and that back wall's a good wall to base what I'm going to be building from, I think. So I'll just keep clearing. Okay, making good progress. There's some of the big building blocks I found. I can hopefully reuse those. So getting it cleared, working towards that corner for now where I've stacked all my gear to start with. Probably shouldn't have put it there. I think I'm going to have to move all that down to this corner. At least have an area that's completely clear then. Certainly warming up in the sunshine now. It's only meant to be 14, but working in this, lovely. Quite a big one. So my favourite toy is back. Just put a bag of cement out. Gonna mix 1 cement, 2 parts fine sand and gravel, that part there, and some of the rougher gravel I'm going to break up a bit and throw in there as well. So what I'm going to do is, this is the width of the shed, this back wall. I'm going to cement concrete around that block so it goes in, and then roughly where the wood goes at the back, I'm just going to pad that out with concrete to start with, and then lay in a flat base along there. So I'm just going to basically cover that in concrete. So I put that layer of concrete along the back. It's very thick concrete, so let that dry out. I just put in the first stone for the 3 walls in each position. So I'm thinking of these are going to be my main base stone, and the shed is basically going to come out about 10 foot or so. It's going to have a half wall inside of it, and that side will be storage for wood, logs, firewood, and this side will be storage for tools. And you'll sort of go in, I've got two swinging doors, old toilet doors. You'll go in the middle here. You can either go left for wood or right for tools. And then the end of this area is going to be an open shed where I'm going to keep things that can stay outdoors, like the cement mixer with a cover on it, things like that. So that's the basic start. Feel like I've done quite well today. Cleared the whole area, got the initial bed of concrete at the back in. I've only used one bag of cement, one bag of sand. That's all cleaned up and tidied away. There's a possibility of rain tomorrow, so I'm going to have to bring the electrics in. But yeah, all going well. See how that dries up tomorrow, how hard that goes. So my concrete's all set at the back, nice and hard. Yeah, I haven't levelled it out yet, that'll be done with the mortar. But get the idea of the bricks are going to go along the back. I'm just laying out this bits of block I've got. This is the rough wall layout, so what I want to do today is try and make some more concrete and get the sort of foundation for the walls ready. So 2 long walls and then a shorter wall, so as you walk in the shed, that area will be for wood, and I'll have it on some raised platforms, and this area will be a tool shed with some shelves and things in. The front, the middle part, where the wall stretches out there, I'm going to go just above head height. Front a little bit higher, so about 7 foot high, and the back about 5 foot to give me a slope for the roof I'm going to put on. So that's the rough plan. It's the start of the wall, concrete, bits of rubble, and a little robin keeps coming down. So if you can see him jumping about in front of the wall, keeps coming down and landing on it, checking it out every time I have a rest. A bit rough, but I'm now mixing up the strong mortar to roll over the bricks to make the foundations for the walls. So there's the mortar mix, come out perfectly. Maybe slightly wet, but it will start going off quite quickly, I'm sure. I've just washed out the cement mixer, ready for the next load. So now I'm going to try and tackle this front 2 walls, get them up to the level of the start of the building. So I've built up the front walls. I'm going to be ready to, that was one lot of mortar, or 2 bags. So that's my door, my entrance way. Got it all pretty much level now, but I'm going to run a whole row of bricks round. But what I have got from the shed is some rebar. So I'm going to give that a cut there. That'll give me a corner rebar. Another one. So all 4 corners, I'm going to lay that in there in the mortar, just to give it a bit more strength. And I got myself a metal grinding disc, so I'm going to give that a whiz. Aha! One done. One more to go. So next load of mortar ready. That's the tiniest bit of rebar, but I've laid them all out in the corners where they're going to go, and going to basically cover them with mortar as I go around. I want to try and do a whole complete circle of stone bricks now. Okay, got one level up. I've used all but 2 or 3 of my bricks that I had, so I'm going to have to get some more. I think I'm going to have to go at least 3 levels higher. 4 at the front, 3 at the back, so it's 30 bricks all around, 31 bricks all around. I'm going to put some windows made of bottles in there. yeah, it's not perfectly level at all, but it's getting more level, so hopefully it will level up with each raise of bricks. But I'm really pleased with it. I'm sure it's going to be strong, especially with the rebar in the corners and the roof pinning it down. So tomorrow, going to go back to the DIY shop. Luckily the bricks are only 34 cents each, so if I get 100, it's only going to be 34 euros. And the cheap masonry mortar seems to work really well, so I shall get a few. I've got 2 bags of that left, but I shall get more of that. Each circle round basically uses 2 bags of mortar, so I think with the bricks and the mortar I shouldn't be spending any more than about 50 euros tomorrow, and that should get me enough to build it to the right height. So I'm going to start another day. Got the beams out and clean them up, got the nails and things off of them. I put them on there, so I've got one going there, one will go there, and when I've built up this front even more, one will go at the top. I'm trying to work out the angle, but it's looking good, roughly there. So I'm going to mix up the last of my cement in stock, go over the outside walls again, render those up, fill in any gaps, and get it ready for more supplies. The van is loaded. Mortar and bricks. They're not very heavy really, but they just fit in. So I'm all set up, ready to go. Got my bricks. Gonna try and get it more level as I go around this time. Put my first layer of bricks there. There's my mix of mortar, all ready to go. Make a start. Just have to break it off in the middle, but 2 bricks cut perfectly.
Oh, let me put the bowl tops the right way round.
No. So I've just put in the next layer. They're my beer bottle windows and
you
vents.
Won't let me put them in straight.
I've decorated them with some beer bottle caps, randomly placed in. So I know the labels are going to come off with time, but the idea is to let a bit of light through and some ventilation through the sheds. I know again it will let a little bit of rain through, but I'm going to try and fill in most of the gaps. Okay, so another day on the shed. Really pleased with my beer bottle window vents. They've come out really well. It's all dried off, it all feels solid. Today I'm going to try and put in the bricks and the levels for the 3 beams I'm going to put across. So the front one I'm going to build up by 3 of these bricks and then stagger it backwards. So I've got a stack of bricks. Also got a washing machine glass, which I'm going to put in as a window here, so I can look out from the shed on the next level up. Well, that's the plan. Mixed up my mortar. I've gone for a stronger mix today. It's a lot firmer because I'm going to be going up, and hopefully a lot of the levels are set now. So I'm just going to oil up these beams I'm using. Yeah, they're not the nicest looking things, but they fit perfectly. Well, I built the shed to fit them, and they're still very, very strong. They're going to do a great job. So another day in Portuguese paradise. On today, I've got more supplies, 20 more bricks, which I'm going to need to finish the front of it, get the right height. Beams are being treated, I've got to turn those over, and I've got new supplies of cement. So today I want to get this up to height, get the beams in, get the doors ready to be framed, and get all the plans for getting the wood for the roof. So hopefully get that all done today, making good progress. Another project has turned into more than twice as long as I thought it would take, but that's how it is. So beams all painted and treated. I ended up using a whole tin for those 3 beams, but it was only a 3/4 of a litre tin, so not very much. But they look a lot better, and obviously they'll just help protect them in the future. So I'm using a different type of manufacturer of mortar here, but I do like it when it's in English and there's a nice picture showing exactly what I'm doing. The only thing I'm doing differently, I haven't got the pair of gloves on. Maybe I should have done. So good to go around the windows. I've just basically cut out like a diagonal on 2 of the stones. Hopefully I'll just be able to stuff that full of cement and it will wrap around it. And it will lift slightly with the grout, so I'm going to give that a try, cementing it, see how it looks. So that's got on there okay. A little bit wobbly, but I'll smooth it out with cement. I've got the height of my doors and I need to go up 1 more level for the beam, but I don't want to go up a full brick, so I'm going to break down a brick into 3 high, and the beam should sit across there nicely, and that'll be the full height on the front. That's the brickwork all ready. It's still wet, but I'm going to place the beams in place now. So there's the beam in. And what I've done, it's a very bendy beam, the middle one, is just positioning where they're going to go, where I won't have to pad out. So that when I have a support beam going across, that part is flat. The ones where they dip like that, I'll have to just pad a bit of wood above it, a little block of wood above it to make it flat. But that's the position it goes. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to cement those in now, but I start filling in around the blocks. I can see where I should be okay with that corner there, but I'm just going to fill in the blocks now, where the tiles are going to go, where the bricks are going to go. You can see in the shed, I can only just walk up to this beam, but the idea was this area I could stand up in. That area, it's just going to be low, but it will be storage, and this whole area will be wood. Good news, we've managed to get our firewood order in, which will be for next year. So we've got 2 cubic meters of eucalyptus coming tomorrow, which I want to get this ready for storing that in there. But so the beams are in. Going to try and fix them in place and fill around now. So first coat of primer's on. I'm just going to go over it again where it's really bumpy. Try and get into the paint a little bit more before I put the extreme exterior paint on. But I think overall, looking much better. Another quick look out the window. That needs cleaning up. We've just had our firewood delivered. 2 cubic meters of eucalyptus cut to 30 centimetre size for the log burner, and that was €90, same price as 2 years ago, so brilliant. I've just now got to move all that and put it in the shed when it's ready, and I think there's rain due, but it should be okay. But yeah, brilliant service here for firewood, and highly recommend eucalyptus. Burns really hot, but it is rock hard. It's ever so hard to cut, so if they offer to cut it, it's worth getting it cut to size. Back at the bric-a-marché getting the wood. There's all my complicated calculations. Pile of wood. Quite a lot of wood really. The slats are 15 pack. Probably going to add up to about €100. So much cooler day today in Portugal. Been some rain yesterday, rain later this afternoon. So what I'm doing in a hurry is trying to get these doors on. So I've got this wood. I'm going to build out the door frame. I couldn't get the wood I wanted. The only wood they had that was thick enough was all twisted and bowed. So I thought I'd just join pieces together. Fixed to the wall, fixed to the top beam, fixed to the ground. Hopefully that will all hold firm. So I'm going to cut these, mark this one up, mark these two up for cutting, cut these, so I can get them fitted. So there's the door frames in. I had to be a little bit creative filling in. Like I said, I was going to get an 8 by 8 inch post, but they were either all twisted or the really treated ones are really expensive. So I've kind of made that up. It's very solid, and these doors are quite light. So I'm just going to fill in a bit around there, but it's rock solid for the door, and then the doors will hang on. But it's about to rain again, so all the electrics are going to have to go inside for a minute, and I'm going to clean up these doors with a jet washer, see what happens. So the doors are fitted almost straight. Took a lot of angles added to the right hand side to try and straighten those up. But I've filled in with bits of eucalyptus. I'll cement around the edges of the wall. Might fill in a little bit more wood, but it's not meant to be airtight. It's meant to have a bit of ventilation, so it's going to have plenty of ventilation going through it. But that's on now. Next stage tomorrow will be starting the roof. So there's my cross beams. They're sort of 2-inch square. I'm going to put 7 of those across and then do the slats going this way. So my plan is to attach the top beam into the bottom beam and pad out around the middle beam. Sometimes it will be a big gap, sometimes it'll be a small gap, but that's how our roof was originally done. So I'm going to copy that method. So we've had a downpour overnight. Not ideal, but it looks like a nice day today, sunny dry day. There's my roof beams. They're going to be the 8 beams that go down. So first I'm going to get a tape measure and space them all out and lay them out and see what they look like. So I've laid all the beams across where they're going to go, roughly 45 centimetres apart. I've set them so at the front they all sort of overhang by the same amount. The building's not square, it's not regular, so it's not, the overhang's different at the back, but that'll be different, that won't be seen. And you can see none of them actually touch the beam, the middle beam, but I'm going to pad each one of these with different size pieces of wood, and then as the weight drops down, that will support the roof. Well, that's my theory, and that's based on how the roof was done in our house. It looks pretty level looking across it. Might manoeuvre the fourth one from the other side, so we can get that a little bit lower. But obviously we're working with eucalyptus beams that aren't dead straight here. a supporting one. Just made 2 blocks there. These are a bit bigger. I might use a lump of eucalyptus on these so I can get something perfect to fit. So I've checked the gaps on the house and they're 36 centimetres. What I'm going to do here is 32, 34. So you just overlap a little bit more. I'm pretty sure that will be okay. But I'm going to put a couple in. It's hard to lay them out without them all moving. So I'm going to put this row of screws in this end and the far but one end. Then just try a couple of tiles on them, see what they look like. Okay, so I've just trying out these tiles to see this gap, whether it's working. I think I'm not going to go for the traditional method. I'm just going to do them in line. They all interlock and hold each other down. And it is only a shed, but I think they're going to go on quite well. What I'm going to do is make sure every tile I pick out has every tooth intact. I'll spin the camera around, show you what I mean. So like this tile I put on, one of its little terracotta teeth is worn off. But I've got an enormous pile of tiles, so I can quite happily pick out some good ones. But I'm happy with how it's sloping together. I'm not bothered about the overlaps. I think what I'm going to do is ball the beams on now, get to the very end, and then put the bottom layer of tiles on. I definitely need to start at the far end because the way the tiles go in, they go from right to left. They lock in together with these grooves going down. So probably going to take me an hour or so to get these all set out and then look at putting the tiles on. So I've laid on the first row, 17 tiles altogether. Might just need tapping around a little bit, but I'm going to try and put the second row on top of this, see how they look. So first 3 layers have gone on, going pretty well. They look a bit wobbly, and I think to do the overlap I'll have to make the gap a bit smaller. So I'm just going to lay them on like this. They look pretty good for a shed. And what we like about it, it looks like it's been here forever. And it was from our old house, so it looked like that when it was on the old house. So that is the 6th row in. 2 more rows to go. Down to the last but 1 row. You can see the manufacturer and where they're made. That's literally just up the road from us. So very local tiles. So the roof is on. There's about 135 tiles altogether. And I probably wasted about 12 or so that were broken. But they're all from the old roof, so they didn't cost anything. It looks pretty good. I can see one there sticking up. I don't know why. And also this one needs pulling out. But they just sit on top of each other, and they're going to they support each other. I can't see there ever being a problem with them getting blown away. It looks brilliant. Looks like it's always been here. So what I do now, I'm going to infill these sides. I thought I was a lot closer to the roof than I actually was, so but bricks and cement all along the sides. I'm going to leave the front open, but the other side also needs quite a bit of infilling. So I'll leave that for today. to do that cementing tomorrow. There is more rain coming, so we'll be able to see how waterproof it is tomorrow. Here's a view from inside. Obviously all the gaps and everything let quite a lot of light in here. And this is where I'm going to be storing firewood. So, a giant pile of it down on the grass. This has already got soaked, that's got soaked. Going to stack it up in here so it can properly start drying out. So it's a bit of a miserable day, but I've heard there's snow in the UK, so a lot warmer than there. I've just set out a few little shelves around, start putting tools on. Obviously it's a lot smaller shed, so I'm going to have to be a bit more organised and put them all in well. But I'm going to mix up some cement now and fill all these side gaps in. So that's partly filled in with first cement. Let that dry a bit, go and do the other side, then come back to this and do a bit more cementing over and infilling. But we're getting there. So that's done for the day. I'm not going to get any more cement in there, it's too soft. Might need a little touch up tomorrow. I put this, gone around the window on the inside and outside. Just put a bit of the undercoat on the sides there. Still need a little bit more cement in to finish them off. I have slapped this paint on, that window will clean up. We had the most tremendous rain last night, probably a good few inches of rain. So I'm going to have a quick look in the shed. The odd little drip has got through, but it really did throw it down. Windy, lightning, inches and inches of rain. So pretty pleased with that overall. But also I'm going to add guttering on. I found some guttering that was left over. And basically going to put a row of guttering on the back here, because obviously that is a lot of rain washing down the back of the shed. So going to gutter it and point it off to go over this way. So that's the plan to stay. So I've got bits of guttering, they're not the best state, they will clean up a bit. I just need to get the hooks, end brackets and the hanging brackets for them. And there's the side of the shed there. Just had a quick undercoat, so be ready for painting soon. So I've got some equipment for the next stage. Some bad news, some good news. I've got brilliant solar lighting. So I'm going to have a solar light inside the shed and a couple of lights outside. I've got the downpipe connector, the ends, the middle connector, the brackets. What I didn't get is the actual brackets that connect to this, that hook around the guttering. So at the moment I've only got two ways of hooking it on. I'm going to see if I can just drill a hole and attach on. It's not very far, it's not very high, not very heavy. So I'm going to see if I can make do. So first of all I'm going to cut this pipe down and see if I can line up all the guttering and give it a little clean. So I've just attached that on. I've just basically piped it so it shoots out away from the building. And what I'm going to do now is look at putting the middle joint on, making sure it's long enough. Okay, the guttering proved to be more of a challenge than I thought. I've got it in with the brackets. I think it naturally slopes the wrong way, so I managed to get it round. I also, as well as not getting the proper brackets, I didn't know if I needed rubber seal in between the joints, but I've got some of the super thick, strong stuff that we use from the kitchen, the T-Rex stuff, and I've made a waterproof seal at the gap. But it's going to take at least 24 hours to join or to set. At the other end, I'll walk you around. Had a huge problem. It wasn't long enough. I've managed to join it, and I'm got the angle correct with a tile, sticking it down with all that Gorilla T-Rex glue. So I'm going to let that set. Now I'm going to give it everything the coat and a paint. It's finally drying up here. The sun's coming out. A good time to do the paint. I've done the cementing, filled in the cement around the edges, so that'll paint over. I'm not going to undercoat that little bit there. I'm just going to paint over it. So all painted up. It will need one little go over again at the top, but I'm going to let that dry. The window needs cleaning down. Bit of a wipe over the doors again, although some of those stains won't come off. But the paint's gone on really well. Looking a lot brighter and nicer. So now just wait for that to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to set up the solar lighting. So that's the 2 solar lights outside fitted. Tested them and they definitely work. They've got a sensor. They go dim and then bright as you get nearer, so they might do a good job. And then I've got the solar panel. It comes with the shed light there, and I've just wired it onto the beam for now. Basically got an on-off switch underneath. There were some with remote controls, but I thought I'd lose that. I think it's completely flat, so it needs charging. So it's about 4 o'clock now. There's not a lot of sun. What there is, I've kind of pointed it at the panel. So we'll give that a little test later on, see how that works. But really it's only for getting firewood, so I'm hoping just there is a good spot for it. So if we have to come up at night, we can switch it on and get firewood, not fireworks. That was €45, the shed light, and the little ones were €18. They're on special offer. I got them from Brico-Marché. Really pleased, they look really good. So we'll see how those go. The rubbish pile is building, but it's nearly done now. Just a little bit more touching up with paint, a big tidy up, and I'll do a final walk round afterwards. So the lights are working. They haven't had much of a charge, so let's see what they do. Oh, they brighten up. Looking good. Okay, very dark in here. There's our wood. Firewood lit up. There's our solar light. Oh, I think the battery's flat already. So now for the unveiling of the finished shed. As you can see, we've got some, I think it's our plum tree. Some flowers coming. It's a beautiful day today. It's already in the 20s, only about 11 o'clock in the morning. So there it is in the background. Kind of looks like a toilet block with the doors, dedicated to beer drinkers. So I've filled all the gaps in at the side. The guttering is all stuck together with the T-Rex glue. Brackets are attached through the side of the guttering, drilling a hole. There's my beer bottle air bricks. So look around the front, I've got the solar going, so it's all lit up. At night these come on and then brighten up as you get near it. They're really good. There's my gutter pipe coming out. One day we want to pipe that water down to our vegetable area when we're living here. So we'll take you inside. Through the swing doors. So there's the wood pile. That's 2 cubic meters of eucalyptus in there. Started to fill the shed up, got my saw in here, started storing already. It's cool in here, ventilated and nice and dry. The roof's working really well. There's the window, the washing machine window, looking out on the villages over the hills. Really great view. Started putting a few shelves around, hanging tools up. I'm sure I'm going to fill this space to the brim, but it's going to be ideal for looking after the tools, keeping them safe. All the outdoor stuff I'm going to store around the side here, out of the way. So yeah, really pleased with it. I could try and remove those toilet signs off the door, but they are super glued on, so they're going to stay for now, and we'll see how it ages. But yeah, all total costs, spent 100 on the wood for the inside. Obviously the main beams and the tiles recycled from the old roof. Spent about 120 on blocks and cement, and then another 80 on the solar lighting, the shed light inside and the 2 lights outside. So about 300 euros. Really pleased, and it's going to enable us to move on to the next project next year, the main bedroom. A little glimpse of what's coming up. We've only got a couple of weeks left now, but there it is. It's going to be my fire pit that's air vented, and hopefully will have it'll be almost smokeless. I've seen a few ideas online. Just noticed all the paint on my face. You can see I've just finished painting this morning. So that video will be coming out probably in another week's time. Forgot to mention my lovely cork hat that I got from a charity shop, brand new for €2, Indiana Jones, brilliant. And once again, thanks everybody for watching, liking, commenting on our videos, really is appreciated. Keeps us going, keeps us motivated to make more.